Assalamu alaikum students, this is Farwa Batool, your O-level computer science instructor, and welcome to my channel Learn to Teach. So another video related to the topic of pseudocodes. So far we have seen the assignment statements, conditional statements, if then else, case, otherwise and case, and now in this video we are going to see the pseudocode for iteration. Yes, but before going into the topic, let me explain you the term iteration. What is an iteration? Remember that when some actions performed as part of an algorithm need repeating, this is called iteration. What it means, let's suppose I have an algorithm here in which I have certain statements or instructions to perform. But there is a kind of instruction that needs to be repeated. So in order to do that, you have to use the loop structures to perform iteration. Let's take an example. Let's suppose I want to print my name. Let's write down the statement here. Output. My name is. Let's suppose I have a program in which I need to write down my name 100 times. So what would be uh, the option to do it? If you want to type your name 100 times, will you be writing this statement 100 times? This one? Not at all. It will take lots of your time, lots of your effort to do the same thing 100 times. It's inefficient. So in order to do something in a repeated way, you are going to use loop structures. Yes. So in this video, we are going to see the three different type of loop structures that helps us to do iterations in pseudocode. Okay, let me just name all of these loop structures for you. The first one is for to next. This one, for to next, is one of the loop structures that we use for the iteration or for the task that we need to do more than one time. The second thing is repeat until. And the third one we have while, do, and while. Let me write it here. While, do, and while. Okay, there is a very basic and a key difference between all of them. Let me tell you the difference here and then we will see the code. For to next loop. This loop structure is used when the number of iterations are known. Let's suppose you know that you have to do this work 10 times, or you know that you have to do this work 50 times. So it means when the number of iterations are known, it's better to use for to next loop. The next one is repeat until. This is what we call a post condition loop. Why it's a post condition loop? Because the loop condition that will end the loop is written at the end of the loop, the exiting condition. If you want to exit the loop, the end condition will be written at the end of your code for this loop structure. I'll tell you in the code later on. So we call it a post condition loop. And remember that in until, repeat until, the task is at least done one time. And for the next time, it is going to check the condition. If the condition is false, then it will be done again. Till the condition, the end condition becomes true, then it will come out of the loop. Okay, now the third one, while, do, and while. Here is we call it a preconditioned loop. It is opposite to the repeat until. It may or may not be done at least one time. Okay, so maybe it will never be executed. Why? Because the condition, the exiting or the end condition for the loop is written at the start of the loop. So it is going to check that condition even the first time loop runs. And if the condition becomes true, it will come out of the loop. Okay. Okay, let me just tell you the three important things about these loop structures here. These are the key things. In for to next loop, you are going for the counter value. You will check the counter value, or the test condition depends upon the value of the counter. Here in repeat until, your loop will end until a given condition. Let's suppose you have any condition. Until the condition is true, you will be running the loop. But if the condition gets, sorry, I just written wrong thing here. If you want to end your loop, your condition must be true. If the condition becomes true, you will come out of the loop. Remember that. And here, if the condition becomes false, you will come out of the loop. This is very important. So in order to come out, or in order to end the loop, in repeat until, your condition needs to be true, and in while to end while, your condition must be false, so that you will come out of the loop. Now this thing will be checked by the different codes. Let's go into the pseudocode for each of these loop structures so that you can see the difference. Okay, so below I have pasted your textbook examples. Let's see the pseudocode and understand how each of these loop structure works. Moving towards the first one, that is for to next loop structure here. Okay, look at this. The syntax is for is a keyword here, for, and after that you are going to define the range for your counter. A counter is a variable that defines the number of iterations. So look at this. Counter is assigned a value from 1 to 10. So this is basically how many times you are supposed to do the task. You will be doing 10 times, 1 to 10. So it means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Every time it performs the inner instructions, then it will move towards for here, and it will increment the counter. Let me tell you how. Now when you go inside the loop, there is written output enter name of student. So you are basically what doing? You are asking the user to enter the name of student, and you are saving it where? Input student name counter. So if you can see that student name is basically an array, and the position of the array is set by the counter value. So how this going to work? Let me tell you how it will work. At the very start, the counter's value is going to be 1. Counter is 1. Then it will go inside the loop. Enter name of a student is shown on the screen. The user is going to write down some name, and it will be stored in student name array at the position 1, because the value of the counter is 1. Let's suppose the the user wrote Ali. So it will be saved in student name position 1. Then the next is a keyword. For to next loop, next is a keyword that helps the counter to increment. counter equals to counter plus 1. It is going to be incremented. It means now the counter value is 2. And then again the same thing will run, but now the student name that the user inputs again will be saved at position 2 or index 2. Maybe he written Sana. So this name is saved in student name 2 because the index is set depends upon the counter's value. So in this way, it will be done till the counter gets a value 10. So the last name will be stored in the student name array at index 10. Let's suppose it is John. So this is how you are going to get the names of the students 10 times by using this for to next loop, in which the number of iterations are fixed depending upon this counter value 1 to 10. If you want to make it more, you can change the range 1 to 20. Okay, this loop is used when you want to read arrays, when you want to read the list, when you want to input some array values and want to save them. So this is something where the fixed number of repetition is known when you know the number of iterations before. Okay, now the next one is repeat until here. Okay, now you can see that you have two variables here. The first one is total. You have initiated it with 0. The mark is initiated with 0. Now, here you have a keyword repeat for the loop structure. Then in the next, total is assigned a value total plus mark. The output is enter value for mark minus 1 to finish. Okay, it is also defining that if when you will write down minus 1 or press or just input a value minus 1, then you will be out of the loop. Other than that, if you will give any other mark, then it will be input and it will be calculated in total. So what I understand with this is basically you are going to enter some marks like 20, 25, 35, 7, and all these marks are going to be calculated or going to be added with one another. And then you will get a total. Let's do how this loop works. Okay. If you notice that here is the until keyword and the end condition until mark equals to minus 1. So when this condition becomes true, remember that when the until condition, the loop condition that is at the end of your loop becomes true, then you will be, it means you will be out of your loop and you will never perform the task again. Okay, so the test condition needs to be true in the case of until. Now, second thing that I mentioned here is the condition is here at the end of the loop. So, in repeat until loop structures, the task is at least done one time. It will do the work one time at least, then it will check the condition, and for the second time, it will work if the condition is false. And it will work until the condition becomes true. Okay, let me just quickly see what is this pseudocode tells us. Okay, remember that total was 0 at the first. And when I put 0 here and mark 0 here, so 0 plus 0 was 0. So total gets the value 0 for the first time. Now, enter value for mark minus 1 to finish. Let's suppose I have written mark as I have given a value 20 in mark for the first time. It will check for the end condition here. Did mark equals to -1? No, it was not. So it is false. When it is false, you will do the same thing again. And when you will do the same thing, now the value of mark is changed. In mark, now you have input a value of 20. So 0 plus 20 is going to be 20 here. So after the first iteration, the total is changed to 20. Now for the second time, it will ask me enter value for mark. Let's suppose this time the mark value I input is 15. It will again check the test condition here. No, mark is not equal to -1. It is false. It will go again. And this time the total has a value of 20 and the mark that I gave a value 15. So look at this. Now it will add both the numbers and I'll get 35 as total. 35 total means that I have added the two marks that I input, 20 and 15. Okay. Next, again for the third time, it is going to ask me enter value for mark. Let's suppose the third time I input mark. Okay, remember that the value of total now is 35. Let me write it here. Total equals to 35. Okay, let's suppose this time the mark value I input is 10. 10 is not equal to -1. Again, the condition is false. Go up. Do the same thing again. But now the total is changed to 35 and the new mark I input is 10. So 35 plus 10 is now 45. So what I understand here is it is basically adding the marks that I am giving. It is totaling the marks. So the total is now 45. And let's suppose the fourth time I'm going to put a value -1 in the mark. So it is going to check for the end condition. Mark equals to -1. Oh yes, now the condition is true. So remember that when the condition becomes true, you will be out of the loop. So here is the end of your loop. So this is how our repeat until is going to work. Remember there two things. First, in repeat until, the task will be done at least one time, then the end condition will be checked. And the second thing you need to remember is the test condition needs to be true so that you can get out of the loop. To end the loop structure, the test condition must be true. Okay, this is for repeat until. Now quickly moving towards the last loop structure, that is while, do, and while. So let's understand this pseudocode. Total is assigned a value 0, output, enter value for mark, -1 to finish, the same thing. It is asking to enter a value for mark and it is going to total it. Input mark while mark not equals to -1. Now look at this. Here the condition needs to be not equal to -1 and here the condition was equal to -1. Because in this case, if the condition gets true, you will be out of loop. And here, if the condition is false, then you will be out of the loop. Or in other words, this loop will continue till the condition is true. Okay, now the same thing, but since it's a precondition loop, so you can easily see that here the condition will be checked for the first time. It means that this work, maybe it will never be done if the first input that the user gives is -1. So here these, neither it is going to calculate total, neither it is going to ask for another mark, nothing. Because the test condition that I have written is at the start of the loop. So if the condition gets false for the first time, it will never do the things that is inside the loop. Okay, let's see how this pseudocode will work. Okay, total is assigned a value 0, and here it asked me to enter some value for a mark. Let's suppose I enter -1. Okay, so it is going to check for the condition mark must not be equal to -1. Since the mark is equal to -1, so this condition is false. So when the test condition becomes false, you will never do the inside work and the loop will end here. So this is something very important. It's a precondition loop. Okay, in other case, let's suppose I input a value mark equals to 20. Then the same thing will be done here. It will assign total a value that is total plus mark. Total is 0 and mark is 20. So now total becomes 20. And again, it is going to ask for the next value. Let's suppose now the total value is here 20 and the mark value I input is 5. Let's suppose again it will go here, check for the condition. Condition is true, mark not equal to -1. It will now calculate. The value of total is 20, the value of mark is 5. So again, adding both of them, it becomes 25. Okay, now for the next time, the value of total calculated is 25. Let's suppose the mark value I enter is -1. So now it will calculate total as 20. Okay, it will not calculate it. Why? Because once we enter, we input the value mark, it will go and it will check the test condition. So mark not equals to -1, it is now false because the mark I input is -1. So it is never going to calculate the total again. This is how a while, do and while loop structure will work. So these are the three different kind of loop structures that we have seen in this video. Thank you so much for watching the video. Stay tuned, stay connected, and do not forget to subscribe the channel. In the next video, we will see the input and output statements quickly. Bye-bye.